Thank you. And then can you please share overview of the Daly City Youth Health Center and why it was created and how you're involved with that?
Oh, it's such an interesting entity. I think it's about between 25 and 30 years old.
Mhm.
It was created as a partnership between San Mateo County Department of Public Health and the Jefferson Union High School District to serve youth in northern San Mateo County, which is a part of the county that there's a lot fewer services, and it's a much poorer part of the county than in the south. And so there was at least as far as I know, because I wasn't around back then or I wasn't involved, just this awareness that there was a lack of healthcare services for youth, and that healthcare meaning health, sort of general comprehensive health, and mental health.
Mhm.
And so it was created, the district at the time helped the funding and the initiative, and I don't know all the stories. There was this wonderful pediatrician from San Mateo County who was really like the spearhead for it. I think her name was Janet Forrest. I don't remember if that was her name. Anyways, so it got created. So it's a very unusual entity. It's like the medical side of it belongs to San Mateo County Department of Public Health, and then the other side of it, so the administration and then all the other things it does, the weirdly the mental health belongs to Jefferson Union High School District, but then like the billing is done through the county. And then at some point, and I don't know when, Sarah, an
Mhm.
additional program was started at the Daly City Youth Health Center called Project Play.
Okay.
And it was born out of the need or the desire. So state of California has a comprehensive sex education curriculum requirement that's 95% delivered via health classes in the state, mostly to ninth graders,
Mhm.
just the way that the curriculum works. And so it was decided that there would be actual professional sex educators that taught the curriculum rather than making health teachers, teach curriculum that sometimes they weren't comfortable with. And because California asks us to do comprehensive sex education, very different from what happens in other states, it's very open-minded, and I think a lot of other states would call it radically liberal, that for some teachers they weren't comfortable with it. So there's a
Mhm.
staff now at Daly City Youth Health Center that are on the district side of the place that come into all of our health classes, every single health class in the district, that and that's a whole other portion. And then there's been other pieces of the Daly City Youth Health Center, but all of that always depends on funding and grants. So they've had different times where they did work with our students who had special education services,
All
where
right.
they helped do job placement and then like mentoring and coaching through jobs. That grant went away. So like staff come and go and programs come and go there depending on funding streams.
All right. Thank you. And then we kind of went over this, but how can you please share how the partnership has advanced the mission of the organization? So how has the Daly City Youth Health Center helped like provide that health care for students in the Jefferson Union High School District?
So they provide healthcare to anyone who, we just raised the age. So I think it's like up to 25 now,
Oh wow.
because there was an awareness that there's this huge gap once
Mhm.
kids like graduate from 18 to 25 is like one of the most vulnerable stages of people's lives. Actually,
Mhm.
it's like, your parents are no longer, your family's not responsible for you anymore. You might not still be earning enough, et cetera, et cetera. So the healthcare that's provided, the general medical, is for anybody that doesn't have private insurance.
Okay.
So if you have Kaiser, you're not going to go to Daly City Youth Health
Mhm.
Center. But if you have no insurance or public insurance, so people who are low income get Medi-Cal, and then there's a thing called the Health Plan of San Mateo, which is for people who are under the poverty line. And there's like two or three. I mean, again, this always changes with the politics and the funding streams. But so any young person, I think it's 12 to 25,
Okay.
can go to the health center for health, for like comprehensive general medical. You get your immunizations, you can get your physical, you have a cold, you can go. They don't do eye, they don't do dental, so they don't do vision and dental, they don't do surgery, but they refer out for all of
Mhm.
that, and they're connected to all these other organizations. Then the cool thing that they do is they do free, confidential, totally confidential reproductive health care for any young person, regardless of insurance status. So that's 12 and above.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to remember the confidentiality rules. I'm pretty sure it's 12 and above, and anyone can go there. So if your family has Kaiser, if your family has Sutter Health or whatever, it doesn't matter. You can go to the Daly City Youth Health Center, and they have a contract with the county, who has a contract with the state that funds that free reproductive, comprehensive reproductive health care. So they can have STI testing, they can have any kind of birth control method, which is obviously predominantly falls on the shoulders of young women. And then the center also will refer out for pregnancy termination options. So they don't perform abortions there, but they can prescribe what we call the morning after pill, and they also can prescribe what's called medical abortion. So there's another pill that you can take, I think, up to 3 weeks. I can't remember. I don't remember all the details because that's not my thing. So, and then also they provide mental health care, so therapy, predominantly to young people who don't have private health insurance, and they will take a few young people who do, but who we do this thing called minor consent. So they don't, it's confident, like they prefer to have parent and guardian consent for therapy, but minor consent is for those young people who are like, if my family knew, they wouldn't let me go, or they don't believe in therapy. And then the clinician, the therapist, believes that therapy is really in the young person's best interest, and so they will take a couple young people on every year who they basically take them on for free, meaning the health center doesn't get reimbursed for it. And then they put their therapists who are mental health interns, they're like working towards licensure and working through graduate school, they often put them into our schools. So each one of the interns will have like a day at one of the schools and see kids at the school.
Okay. Awesome.
That and that's a whole other portion. And then there's been other pieces of the Daly City Youth Health Center, but all of that always depends on funding and grants. So they've had different times where they did work with our students who had special education services, where they helped do job placement and then like mentoring and coaching through jobs. That grant went away. So like staff come and go and programs come and go there depending on funding streams.
All right. Thank you. And then so the first theme that we're going to focus on is working together for a common goal. So can you please share an overview of the partnership you're going to talk to us about today and why you created it?
So I'm going to talk to you today about the partnership between the high school district I work for and the community college district. So our local community college is Skyline, and we have formed a partnership to build our career technical education pathways into their certificate or AA degree programs at the local community college.
Great. And then can you please share how this partnership has advanced the mission of the high schools?
So one of the missions of our high school district is to prepare our students for post-secondary, and this partnership allows that to happen because it bridges the gap between high school and college or certificate programs.
Great, thank you. So the